Council is called to order. Please silence all electronic devices at this time. Please pause for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Ms. Lacey this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening. If you would please rise. I admit what I was going to say changed slightly with the news of the mass murders in Buffalo, a mass shooting, I think in California. We'll keep those families in our thoughts and prayers. This evening we come to you, our God, today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of our community and our community's trust in our work. Amen. And the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Ms. Lacey. At this time, I have a couple citations to present, and I'm excited about this, even though I'm not excited about the events that led to this. But could I ask Corporal Mark Balonis and Corporal Eric Thomason to come down? If I guess your colleague is in the hallway? Oh! So I'll just say a couple words of thanks, but for those of you in the audience this evening, you may have seen the news that we had a little bit of an incident in our chambers at our last meeting, and our officers who are assigned to keep our environment safe during every single one of our meetings, and we sort of just you kind of blend into the scenery a lot of the time because you really just are standing watch. But when you were needed to and called into action, you stepped right up, and we didn't know exactly what was happening, but you made us all feel very safe, and for that, I'm very appreciative. You got everything, you got the chambers cleared, and then got us back on track, back to finish our meeting in our own chambers very quickly. So on behalf of the whole council, I say thank you, and I'll just read this very quickly. From the Arundel County Council, citation presented to Corporal Eric Thomason. In appreciation, the Anne Arundel County Council would like to offer a sincere thank you for your quick action, wise judgment, and professionalism shown during the May 2nd council meeting. The County Council appreciates you and your dedication to the safety and loyalty in serving the community and elected officials. So this one is for you, and yours says the exact same thing, so I won't read it again, but I will give you this citation with thanks and appreciation. So. For your continued work. Thank you. All right, at this time, Madam Secretary, could you please read the ethics statement?
The Ethics Commission has asked that I advise you that under certain circumstances, members of the public may qualify as lobbyists when they testify before the County Council. If so, the law requires that certain information be filed with the Ethics Commission. The chairman of the Ethics Commission has asked that those who wish to testify in any form review the general information on lobbying sheet located on the ethics website under forms and publications. If there are any questions about lobbying requirements, please contact the Ethics Commission at 410-222-4413.
Thank you. At this time, we will now open our invitation to audience. Madam Secretary, do we have any comments or communications on any subject not included in the printed agenda received from members of the public?
No, Madam Chair, there were no comments for this portion of the meeting received ahead of time.
Thank you. We will now invite members of the audience who signed up before the meeting to address the council briefly on any subject not included in the printed agenda. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. And I do have one name on my list, Melissa Edgar. You may come down. And wait until we get the red light on the microphone for you. That'll mean you're going to get some volume. And then remember, start with your name and address for the record, and you have 2 minutes.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Melissa Edgar. I live at 615 Dillon Court in Edgewater, Maryland. I've been a teacher for 28 years. This is all new to me. I just signed up Friday. I'm not a politician. I first wanted to thank each and every one of you. I had no idea what happened May 2nd, but I'm sure it wasn't good, right? I want you to know that I love my job too. The same reason you stay in yours is the reason I've been a teacher for 28 years. I'm at Mayo Elementary, and I love my school, I love my community, and I love my kids. And I need your help. I need the politicians' help with what's going on right now. I got my national board certification in 2006, and with the new Maryland blueprint law, we have been written out of that. So to stay in my current position at Mayo Elementary, I'm taking a $3,000 pay cut. I have 24 friends who are in the same boat, and already 6 of them have left literacy positions to go back into the classrooms to get an extra $10,000 added to their salary. I'm staying in mine because I love my community. I just moved with the best principal in the world, and I feel like I'm making a difference, just as probably you do in your jobs. But I need your help. We've got to fix this law. I'm in the schoolhouse. I might not have a student roster, but I work with students every single day, and we need your help to fix this Maryland blueprint law as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. All right, is there anyone else here who wishes to speak on a subject? You may come down at this time. You're officially signed up for a little bit later. That's perfect. All right, seeing no one else signed up, or no one else coming down to speak during the invitation to audience is now closed. Is there any item any of my council colleagues would like to place on the agenda? All right, seeing none, we will move on. May I have a motion that the partial reading of any bill, resolution, amendment to a bill or resolution, or minutes constitutes the reading of the whole?
So moved. Allison Pickard.
Is there
Second, Councilman Persky.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Madam Secretary, please read the minutes of April 29th, May 2nd, May 4th, May 5th, May 9th, May 11th, and May 12th, 2022.
April 29th, 2022. The meeting was called to order by Chair Rodvian at 11 a.m. and opened with the invocation given by Ms. Lacey, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The meeting was held in the County Council Chambers, Arundel Center, Annapolis, Maryland. May 2nd, 2022. The meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. by Chair Rodvian, followed by the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Pickard. The meeting was held in the County Council Chambers, Arundel Center, Annapolis, Maryland. May 4th, 2022. The meeting was called to order by Chair Rodvian at 9 a.m. and opened with the invocation given by Mr. Volke and was followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The meeting was held remotely via Zoom webinar, beginning with a roll call of all present. May 5th, 2022. The meeting was called to order by Chair Rodvian at 9 a.m. Mr. Pruski gave the invocation and led the Pledge of Allegiance. The meeting was held remotely via Zoom webinar, beginning with a roll call of all present. May 9th, 2022. The meeting was called to order by Chair Rodvian at 7 p.m. and opened with the invocation given by Chaplain Keith Zucco, Early Heights Volunteer Fire Company, and was followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Fiedler. The meeting was held in the County Council Chambers, Arundel Center, Annapolis, Maryland. May 11th, 2022. The meeting was called to order by Chair Lisa Rodvian at 9 a.m. Ms. Rodvian gave the invocation and led the Pledge of Allegiance. The meeting was held remotely via Zoom webinar. May 12th, 2022. The meeting was called to order by Chair Rodvian at 9 a.m. Ms. Hare gave the invocation and led the Pledge of Allegiance. The meeting was held remotely via Zoom webinar, beginning with a roll call of all present.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 29th and May 2nd, 4th, 5th, 9th, 11th, and 12th, 2022?
Lacey, so moved.
Is there a second?
Pickard, second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. The minutes of April 29th and May 2nd, 4th, 5th, 9th, 11th, and 12th, 2022 stand approved as read. Madam Secretary, please read the titles of any bills to be introduced this evening.
Bill number 5422, an emergency ordinance concerning current expense budget, fourth quarter fund transfer and supplementary appropriations. Bill number 5522, an emergency ordinance concerning current expense budget, Board of Education supplementary appropriation and transfer of funds. Bill number 5622, an ordinance concerning personal property tax credits, foreign trade zones. Bill number 5722, an ordinance concerning zoning, nurseries with landscaping and plant sales.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the titles of any resolutions to be introduced this evening.
Resolution number 1122, resolution approving the determination of certain county-owned property located on the north side of Overly Drive in Severna Park, Maryland as surplus property.
Thank you. At this time, we will now welcome our budget officer, Chris Trumbauer. I can't talk tonight. Chris Trumbauer, our budget officer. And you may have the floor, Mr. Trumbauer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the County Council. For the record, I am Chris Trumbauer, County Budget Officer. Thank you for the opportunity to kick off tonight's fiscal year 2023 constant yield property tax rate hearing. Section 2-205 of the property tax article of the Annotated Code of Maryland requires the State Department of Assessments and Taxation to certify constant yield property tax rate to all taxing authorities. The constant yield rate would produce the same total revenue in the upcoming year as was produced in the prior taxable year, exclusive of new construction. The law further provides that if the taxing authority intends to establish a tax rate greater than the constant yield tax rate, it must advertise and hold a public hearing. An advertisement that adheres to the procedures required by state law was reviewed and approved by the State Department of Assessment and Taxation and placed by this County Council in the local newspaper. Arundel County's constant yield tax rates per $100 of taxable assessment for fiscal year 2023 are certified by the State Department of Assessments and Taxation as follows. 92.93 cents for the county, excluding cities of Annapolis and Highland Beach, 55.37 cents for Annapolis, and 89.55 cents for Highland Beach. The fiscal year 2023 proposed budget keeps the real property tax rate unchanged from the current year at 93.3 cents per $100 of assessment for the county, excluding the city of Annapolis and Highland Beach. This rate is 0.4% higher than the constant yield tax rate of 92.93 cents and will generate $2.8 million in additional property tax revenues above that constant yield amount. Additionally, the fiscal year 2023 county tax rate applicable to the city of Annapolis real property is similarly kept unchanged at 55.9 cents per $100 of assessment in the proposed budget. This rate is 1.0% higher than the constant yield tax rate of 55.3 cents and will generate $0.4 million in additional property tax revenues above the constant yield amount. Finally, for Highland Beach, the fiscal year 2023 county real property tax rate is also kept unchanged at 90.3 cents per $100 of assessment in the proposed budget. This proposed rate is 0.8% more than the constant yield tax rate of 89.55 cents and will generate $2,541 more in property taxes than the constant yield amount. As required by law, this public hearing has been scheduled. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Trumbauer. The County Council will set the property tax rate for Anne Arundel County, the City of Annapolis, and the Town of Highland Beach at its meeting beginning at 9 a.m. on Monday, June 14th, 2022. This will be done via Bill number 48-22, which was introduced as part of the FY23 budget packet. While we are holding a public hearing this evening, as required by state law, comments on Bill 4822 and the property tax rates will continue to be accepted all month using the online testimony tool. We will also hold our second public hearing in the FY23 budget this Wednesday at 7 p.m. at North County High School. We will now open the public hearing on the constant yield property tax rate. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
Yes, Madam Chair, we did receive a letter through the mail. A copy was given to each council member. You should have found that this evening on the dais, and it will be added to our record as well.
Thank you. And we did have one person signed up before the meeting, who will come down at this, who is welcome to come down at this time and provide her 2 minutes of testimony. Lois Schofer. And please state your name and address for the record and your name. And you have 2 minutes.
My name is Lois Schofer. I live at 202 Long Point Road in Crownsville, Maryland, 21032. And I'm here to represent Long Point Civic Association. We are 55 homes, and we are a special benefits district, which means we have to pay for improving our road. We have to pay for snow removal. We have to pay for maintaining 4 drains. And so we are actually we're not necessarily against increasing the property tax assessment, but I think the constant rate should go the opposite way rather than both being increased, because you're just dealing with adding more money to the coffers. And I think it's important that as homeowners, we always keep our budgets within reach, and we'd hope that the county would really reconsider, considering the cost of home sales has significantly increased, so the county is benefiting by the additional monies that are generated by home sales. So you have my letter.
Thank you.
Rest is history. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your testimony. If there's anyone else who wishes to testify on this subject, you may come down and have a seat at the table and have your 2 minutes. All right, seeing no additional movement in the audience, the public hearing on the constant yield property tax rate is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 33-22 as amended.
Bill number 3322, an ordinance concerning zoning, residential districts, requirements for conditional uses, townhouses.
Thank you. Mr. Pruski, as the sponsor, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I provided a summary at the last meeting, but I will do so again just for the benefit of the public. Bill 3322 essentially provides flexibility in R22 sections in the county. The change is occurring to allow townhomes to be paired with multifamily for a 1-to-1 ratio. If you don't know this already, in a currently planned use development, which is known as a PUD, you could already do that. Also, as far as every parcel being changed with some of the emails that were sent out, that's not true. Anytime you have a zoning change or a use that's allowed, that doesn't mean that every parcel does it. And if you don't know this, there are only 12 to 15 parcels that are R22 in the whole county, and 8 of them are already used. So we're talking about a minimal amount. This policy decision also does not circumvent adequate facilities. It does not circumvent forest conservation or any other development requirements. I said this at the last meeting, and I mean this. There's no jurisdiction in the country that has increased affordable housing by restricting housing choices. And again, there's different projects that fit in different neighborhoods, and I think that this bill essentially does that. I do want to take a moment to thank the administration for working with me, and again, looking at this from a different lens and trying to provide flexibility in our county. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, the administration, you may respond. Pete Barron, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Pete Barron with the administration. Joining me is our Deputy CAO for Land Use, Ms. Lori Rhodes, and Lori Blair-Klausmeyer from our Office of Law, who I believe will be with us for all the bills tonight. As Councilman Pruski stated, we discussed this bill at the previous meeting. I think your summary was excellent. Have nothing to add. Just to reinforce the point you made, this does not change adequate public facility or forest conservation or any of those rules. With that, administration also appreciates working with you on this. We appreciate the amendment at the last meeting and ask you support the bill tonight. And Lori's here if you have any tough questions.
Thank you very much. We will now open the public hearing on Bill number 33-22 as amended. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
No, Madam Chair, there was nothing received ahead of time.
Thank you. If there is anyone here, I'm sorry, do we have any, I lost my place here. If there is anyone here who wishes to speak on this bill, you may come down at this time and state your name and address for the record, and you will have 2 minutes. Seeing no movement in the audience, the public hearing on Bill number 33-22 as amended is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 33-22 as amended.
Bill number 3322, an ordinance concerning zoning, residential districts, requirements for conditional uses, townhouses.
Thank you. Oh, and there is further discussion I can see. Ms. Hare, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jessica Hare, District 7. I just have one question. I did ask Mr. Pruski, but for the benefit of the general public who may be watching, because I had this question from a constituent, I just want to make it publicly known. This doesn't change the actual density that's allowed on any particular piece of parcel. It's just a type of housing, the way Mr. Pruski said, correct? Okay, Ms. Rhodes is nodding her head.
That's correct.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right. Seeing no additional lights, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 33-22 as amended.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacey.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volke.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3322 is passed.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 34-22.
Bill number 3422, an ordinance concerning current expense budget, transfer of appropriation, Chief Administrative Office, Department of Public Works.
Thank you. This is an administration bill. Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I have Karen Henry and Alex Bacquier from DPW here, as well as Chris Strumbauer, our budget officer, and Lori Blair-Klausmeyer. We do this kind of bill every year. 3422 makes supplementary appropriations totaling $3.3 million from the CAO contingency fund to the Department of Public Works to cover snow removal costs. We ask you pass the bill this evening, and our folks at DPW can give you any of the details that you may need.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council at this time? All right, seeing none, we will now open the public hearing on Bill number 34-22. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
No, Madam Chair, we did not receive anything ahead of time.
Thank you. And since no one had signed up ahead of time, I will still call and ask if there is anyone here who wishes to speak. You may come up to the table and state your name and address for the record at this time. Once again, seeing no movement in the audience, the public hearing on Bill number 34-22 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 34-22.
Bill number 3422, an ordinance concerning current expense budget, transfer of appropriation, Chief Administrative Office, Department of Public Works.
Is there any additional discussion from my colleagues? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 34-22.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacey.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volke.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3422 is passed.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 35-22.
Bill number 3522, an ordinance concerning Gibson Island Special Community Benefit District, approval of loan and assignment agreement.
Thank you. This is another admin bill. Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Thanks again, Madam Chair. Sticking with me is Mr. Trumbauer and Ms. Blair-Klausmeyer. 3522 obligates the county to levy a special community benefit assessment on the Gibson Island Special Community Benefit District to repay a loan amounting to $11,450,000 over the course of 10 years. The purpose of the loan is to refinance an already existing loan used to cover construction costs. The new loan would also finance repairs and improvements to a non-county-owned causeway. The repayment of the loan will not use any county dollars, and any cost incurred by administering the special community benefit assessment will be offset by the administrative fee charged when taxes are collected. The folks at the table can provide you any detail that you may have. We ask you pass the bill tonight.
Thank you. Are there any questions from my colleagues? All right, seeing none, we will now open the public hearing on Bill number 35-22. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
No, Madam Chair, there was nothing received ahead of time once again.
Thank you. And once again, we did not have anyone signed up to speak. However, if there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak on Bill number 35-22, you may come down to the table at this time. No takers again. Seeing no movement in the audience, the public hearing on Bill number 35-22 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 35-22.
Bill number 3522, an ordinance concerning Gibson Island Special Community Benefit District approval of loan and assignment agreement.
Thank you very much. Is there any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 35-22.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacey.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 3522 is passed.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 36-22.
Bill number 3622, an ordinance concerning licenses and registrations, amusements, linked bingo games.
Thank you very much. Once again, this is an administration bill. Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Pete Barron with the administration, and I have Ms. Blair Klausmeyer with me at the table. Before I jump into describing the bill, I do want to flag that the administration will be asking for a hold at the appropriate time. Some questions from members of the public about 3622 have come up, and we want to give enough time for the various stakeholders and interested parties to discuss the issues. What Bill 3622 does is it modifies licensing provisions for linked bingo games in the county. Our current code requires separate licenses for linked bingo games being played simultaneously at multiple commercial bingo locations. The language of our code has not kept up with technology and how industries change. What 3622 would do would change the language concerning linked bingo to allow virtual play from any location as long as the game is operated by a licensed linked bingo provider from a licensed commercial bingo location in Anne Arundel County. And then there's some provisions about the timeliness of the prizes being paid. With that, the administration asks that you hold the bill today so we can have further discussion.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the council at this time?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Pickard.
as has happened in previous meetings, do we want to consider keeping the public hearing open on this bill before we hold it? Or do we want to, we kind of got into a little pickle the last time we held a bill, but we closed the public hearing, so.
Could I suggest that we hold the public hearing, but then hold it open rather than close it? Because it's been advertised for the public hearing to occur this evening, even though I don't believe we have anyone signed up. I would like to speak. Oh, well, we may have someone coming down. Ordinarily, I wouldn't let you do that, but all right. All right, so Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
No, Madam Chair, there was nothing received ahead of time.
Thank you. And to clarify, we are now opening the public hearing on Bill number 36-22. If there is anyone who wishes to speak, you may come down to the table and state your name and address for the record.
Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Good evening, Madam Chair, council members. My name is Kathy Beating. I'm the Executive Vice President and General Counsel for Alive Casinos, and we are located at 7002 Arundel Mill Circle, Suite 7777 in Hanover. I've only been in the state for about 8 months, so I apologize for not knowing your processes, but I am here to learn for sure. And I'm also here to offer some comments on Bill number 36-22. For the record, Live opposes the bill in its current form, but appreciates the council and administration providing an opportunity for stakeholders like Live and the public to discuss the bill in further detail and offer suggestions on crafting a bill that comports with legal requirements pertaining to instant bingo, where we feel that this bill may have some failings. And I thank you again for the opportunity, and apologies again for not following the process.
You did it perfectly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, if there is anyone else who wishes to speak on this bill, you may come down to the table. But seeing no movement other than the folks from the admin team, we will hold the public hearing on bill number 36-22 open and continue that public hearing at our next meeting, which is actually, it's not our next meeting, but our June 6th.
June 6th, yes.
June 6th, thank you. June 6th, 2022 meeting.
So is that a motion?
That's an excellent idea. I move that we hold this public hearing open until our June 6th, 2022 meeting.
Lacey, second.
And Madam Secretary, I believe we would call the roll on this.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll call the roll.
Thank you.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacey.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The motion to continue the public hearing until June 6, 2022 has been adopted.
All right, thank you very much. We actually need to hold the bill as well, yes? No, okay.
I believe that you've chosen to continue the public hearing, and you typically, you would not vote until you had that and closed
Okay.
it. So I think you're covered.
We're safe, okay.
Yes, and I'll definitely put out a notice of the continued public hearing as required by our rules and laws.
All right, thank you very much. Then at this time, I will ask my colleagues, is there any other business to be brought before the county council? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, Councilman Pruski.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. The county council is adjourned until May 18th, 2022, when we will meet in person at North County High School to hold our final public hearing on the proposed FY23 budget. See you then.